What's going on, everyone? It's RZ over here at BukuGames, and I'm here with yet another devlog. Today I'm going to talk about upgrading your project mid-development to a newer version of the engine that you're working on. Yes, you heard that right. I know other developers are going to call me crazy, maybe insane, because upgrading a project mid-development comes with a huge amount of headaches in most cases. We're going to talk about things that went wrong for us, things that went right for us, why we chose to do this, and whether or not I recommend that you do it as well for your project. So I'm not going to keep this intro too much longer, or going on too much longer. So let's head over to my desktop and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm over here in Unity Hub. This is pretty much where you get all of your Unity installs, where you're going to launch your projects from and whatnot. And essentially you can see I have a lot of different installs. I need to delete some of these because they do take up a lot of space on your computer. But our newest one that we upgraded to is 2022.3.11F1 from 2021.3.14F1. I know those are weird numbers, but simply if you want to go and find new installs, you just go open up Unity Hub, go to the installs tab, and you click install editor. It'll pop up this button and tell you a recommended version. You can also go to pre-releases, which are like super new ones, and archives. So I'm going to show you the download archive because that's actually where I got this from. And essentially, long story short, I'm not going to really go listing out points and go into depth with everything, but in general, you don't really want to upgrade your project mid-development, especially if you are very far in. A lot of things you're doing may depend on things that are only coded or pretty much set up a certain way by the engine you're using in the current version you're using. And when you switch to a newer version of the engine, unless you're starting from scratch, you're gonna have those dependencies kind of conflict with one another. I'm going to show examples of that later, but for now I just wanted to show you guys all about the archives here and what you have to expect when you're going into this. So one of the main things you're going to want to do when you go over to upgrading your project is check the release notes. Very, very important. The release notes tell you things that are known issues in the version you're going to download, things that are new in the version you're going to download, among other fixes that may have happened from previous versions. So let's say I was on 2021 and I noticed there was some glitch in the editor. Hey, maybe they didn't fix it until 2022. So I can check here and see if they fixed whatever I'm working with. There's a lot of notes here. Obviously, they go into very in-depth things. But I'm just going to let you know there are some things such as with Android builds and whatnot that were a little glitchy here. So that is something we're going to go into later. But as you can see, make sure that there are no known issues pertaining to what you're working with, because if there are, then you're probably going to have conflicts when trying to upgrade, and it's not going to be fun. One of the things that Unity 2022 did that we're not 100% sure how it differs like on the technical side of it, but what they changed from 2021 is that the lighting, the way it bounces off stuff using what are called normal maps, and I'm saying this in the most primitive description possible. My brother knows more. Any fellow artists out there probably know more. But essentially, the normal maps affect how light bounces off of an object. And with the shader we're using on these characters, as you can see, like this artwork here for the sprite for our thief character is, it has some different colors to it and whatnot. So you might want light to bounce off of those and make it look darker on certain parts or whatnot. So I'm going to switch over the shader real quick. And here I am with this shader on, which is our character shader, and essentially it now makes your character look like it has a silhouette, which could be cool in certain contexts, but in the context of this, we probably don't want the character to look like that at all times. It's something to do with the lighting and the normal maps, and my brother is definitely on the way to fix it, but for the time being we had to do a workaround. So we just basically made our default shader an unlit one, and essentially light doesn't affect it in any way, so there won't be all those cool different reflections and different shades on the character for the time being, but it also doesn't break the game and make you not able to see what the character is actually looking like. Another issue we ran into more on my side of things is when I was trying to build the game on Android, because we do builds to test our games and how they work on the actual hardware and platforms that we're going to be launching on. One of the things that I ran into was that the SDK path for the Unity 2022 and beyond has changed. Not only has it changed, but they've actually changed like how things are structured. And I was wrapping my head around this for hours, could not figure it out. Actually, it was more like days, could not figure it out. and I just decided to use the 2021 version. So I would recommend do not just straight up delete the old engine until you know for a fact everything is working from development to build, because you may need to use things from the older engine to even get your stuff to work. I'm still working on a way to figure out how this actually will be resolved, but for the time being, using Unity 2021's SDK path, I'm able to still build the game out to Android, and it works completely fine on our phones and our Android emulators on the computer. So that is one thing you have to worry about or think about when you're doing this, is make sure not to delete old engine versions before or in the midst of upgrading until you know everything is working completely fine. And in general, that's pretty much what you have to go through when upgrading an engine to another major version. Now, when you're doing incremental versions such as 2022.11 to 2022.12 and so on, it should be fine. But when you're doing major upgrades from like 2022 to 2023 and so on, yeah, you're probably going to have some major issues because the code and artwork and everything you've developed is relying on the version you're currently starting with. And that's why I would not recommend you upgrade mid-development. Just continue working on the version you started with, and for sure your game will be a little behind in terms of the newest features, but at the same time you're going to have a more stable version, and that's what matters most in the end, is making sure your game works without a bunch of hiccups, without a bunch of frame rate issues or other crazy things that may happen in the background you were not even aware of. But I'm not going to keep rambling. I'm going to let this video end, and I'm going to get back to work on Cursed Kingdom. But for the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this devlog, and I hope that you guys continue to watch the social medias for more information on the game and other things related to BukuGames in general. But with that being said, I've been RZ from BukuGames. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Remember guys, if it's not fun, it's not worth it. See you guys later.